Hi pilots, welcome to the second part of my review video of the Eachine E250 Apache attack helicopter. This is one nice looking scale helicopter. As you saw in my first part of the video, the helicopter comes nicely packaged in this case. My version is ready to fly, so I received everything that I need in this case. The helicopter itself comes almost fully assembled. All that you have to add is these scale details here. And the good thing is that you can store fully assembled helicopter in this case. So if you want to go fly, all that you need to take with yourself is this case. Now, because I received a ready to fly version, I received in the package the radio, helicopter, battery, some spare parts and battery charger. So all that I need to add to fly is 4 AA batteries. To this day I already made 4 flights with this helicopter, but for that 4 flights I was not using the stock radio. I was using my Radio Master TX16S. But for the 5th flight I'm planning to use the stock radio, just to see how it flies with the stock settings. Now, this helicopter looks really amazing. The scale details are just awesome here. As you can see, even the wheels rotate, and this, these tires are foamy. They are not. It's not hard plastic, and so. In terms of flight characteristics, the helicopter flies really nicely. So I like the flight controller here. You can fly smooth, and the helicopter flies, just like it's on rails. The only thing that I didn't like so much is 6G mode, because in 6G mode the helicopter is, I would say, too much locked in, but personally I never fly my helicopters in 6G mode. I only fly in 3D mode. 6G mode is suitable for beginners, for total beginners, but this helicopter is not. I would not recommend this helicopter for total beginners, because one mistake and you will crash badly, and if you crash this helicopter is so delicate that you will break it immediately. So as far as I know, Ishin will release this helicopter with GPS flight controller, and that version of this helicopter would be suitable for beginners. But let's talk about this version. So what I like here is amazing scale details. The flying characteristics are good as well. It flies just like, a good 3D helicopter. It just flies heavier. So there's no weird behavior in terms of flight characteristics. The only thing that I don't like so much is the noise that the stock tail rotor produces. It's quite annoying. So I decided to change the stock tail rotor, which is 4-bladed, so that it looks like a scale, more scale, like a real helicopter. But the issue with this tail rotor is that it's loud. It's too loud for my liking. So I decided to change the stock tail rotor with the OMP Hobby M2 Evo tail rotor. And that tail rotor is so much quieter. You will see if you will look at some of my videos or some other videos. You will see how loud the stock tail rotor is. But even though that this 2-bladed tail rotor from OMP Hobby M2 Evo doesn't look as scale as the stock one, I still prefer to use this one because it's so much quieter. And the reason that this tail rotor is so much quieter is, I think, not that it's 2-bladed and this is 4-bladed. It's not that reason. The main reason that this tail rotor is quieter is because it's made more rigid. It's much more rigid than the stock one. And because if I take a look at this Goosky S2 helicopter, the Goosky S2 helicopter has a similar diameter of the tail rotor, but it's noisy. And the OMP Hobby M2 Evo is not noisy. The reason is that this their rotor is quite thin and flimsy also, just like this one. So that's the reason that there's more noise produced in flight. So that's about that issue. Or I should not say that it's an issue. It's an issue if it bothers you. Now, in terms of assembly quality, the helicopter comes nicely assembled. No issues with assembly whatsoever. No loose screws. No gaps anywhere. No slop in the swash plate. I mean, everything is top notch. In flight, there is no vibrations or anything. It's nicely balanced. I like that the main rotor is turning, in the right direction, just like on a real helicopter. One thing that I have done before the first flight, I must say, is I applied 1 drop of oil on the center ball on this wash plate. So I lubricated this wash plate, and I have done this because I have seen that Ishin helicopters never come with lubricated swash plate, and that's an issue in the long run, because I have also this Ishin E120S 3D helicopter. By the way, an awesome helicopter for the price, amazing. But this helicopter has came without lubricated swash plate center ball, and I have done about, I don't know, 100 flights with this helicopter. Awesome flying, everything awesome. But then suddenly during the flight, the center ball of this wash plate popped out of the socket and I crashed. And then I investigated what happened, and I saw that the center ball of this wash plate was not lubricated when it came out of the factory, and because of that the center ball slowly got smaller and smaller, because the material of the wash plate center ball got slowly eroded because it was not lubricated. So after some time the center ball got smaller and smaller, and it was able to pop out of the socket. And this is the reason I now always check if the center ball of the wash plate is lubricated when it comes out of the factory. So if you get yourself a new helicopter, I suggest you to lubricate the wash plate. So this helicopter comes with a proprietary battery. It's a 3S 1080 milliampere hours, so it's quite large battery, and you get a quite long flight time with this helicopter. The flight time heavily depends on the throttle curve that you are using, so it heavily depends on the flying style and on the head speed of the helicopter. But you can easily get, I don't know, 7 minutes, 8 minutes easily. Now, of course, this type of batteries I would prefer to use a standard LiPo batteries, but they decided to go with this type of proprietary battery. There's nothing we can do about it, but the good thing about this battery compared to some other similar batteries of this type is that you get, as you can saw in the first part of my video, you get the battery charging hub, and you put this battery into that hub, and then you can connect this battery to a standard battery charger. And why is that good? That's good because you can easily storage, charge or discharge this battery, so you get for charging you can easily discharge the battery to around 3.8 volts per cell. This is so important for longevity of the battery, because man, if you, the worst thing that you can do to a battery is that you store it when the battery is fully charged. That's the worst thing you can do to a battery. So pay attention to that. That you store your batteries at storage voltage, because batteries are not cheap. And you put the battery into the helicopter like this, and when you are putting the battery into the helicopter, you must pay attention that you have to squeeze these tabs inside, then you push the battery like this, and you have to hear a click. Now, even you have to pay attention that these two tabs are fully, how it would say, that they lock fully into the helicopter, because if they are not fully, if you don't hear the click, the battery is not fully secured in the helicopter, and you may get a battery ejected from the helicopter during flight, and that leads to a crash, of course. So that's one thing that you have to pay attention. Now, in terms of size, you can see this is Ishin E120S, and you can see the size difference. There's quite a bit size difference between these two helicopters. Now, if I compared the Apache helicopter to the Goose IS-2 Legend, you can see that they are, in terms of rotor diameter, similar sized. The Apache is a little bit larger, just a tiny bit larger, a few millimeters. Now, here you can see I have the Flywing Huey helicopter, 4.5 sized helicopter, and of course the Huey is much larger. Now, as I said before, I have done 4 flights with this helicopter, but I was using my Radio Master TX16S for that. Now I'm planning to use my stock radio for the 5th flight, and I have to bind the helicopter to this radio again. In order to be able to bind this helicopter to the radio, you have to have access to the flight controller. And to be able to reach the flight controller, you have to unscrew the canopy off. You see, these screws are so tiny, so when you are doing this, you have to really be careful not to lose them. And whenever you are handling with this helicopter, you have to be careful, because on this highly detailed scale helicopters, there are so many scale parts, you know, like antennas, tiny. You can break this in a second. To be able to get this canopy off, you have to unscrew 4 tiny screws. By the way, I like the sound of the 4-bladed main rotor. Okay. Now, when you unscrew the 4 screws, you can easily get this canopy off. I like that this canopy is using, you know, it's transparent glass, not just black windows. Here you can see flight controller. So this flight controller is 6G and 3G capable, and here you can see that you are able to adjust gyro settings and agility for all of the axes, but I don't see the need to change any of these parameters here. Here you can also see that you can use S-bus type of receivers, and you can also use Spectrum DSM-X satellite receivers. But you can simply use the stock Futaba protocol also, because this flight controller comes with Futaba SFHSS receiver type, which means that you can use stock radio, and you can also bind multi-protocol radios also directly to this flight controller. My DJI Action 4 camera just overheated, so I had to put in a new cooled battery to be able to continue with this video. So now I will try to bind the stock radio to the helicopter again. What's wrong? Okay, so throttle hold is on. Okay, and now I have to turn on the helicopter, and I don't know how to bind it. I probably just have to press this. Will it bind automatically? Oh, that's awesome, you know, because there's I didn't do anything in this radio to be able to bind it. I just turned it on and pressed this bind button on the helicopter, and the helicopter is bound now. That's awesome. So, as you can see, you also get some nice lights, scale lights with this helicopter. Here you can see that you get this indicator LEDs on the battery, so you can see how much the battery is charged. One light means 25%, 4 lights means 100%, of course. And you can see when you are in 3D mode, this LED light is red, and when you are in 6G mode, this LED is green. Of course, I didn't said that, but here you can see the stock, the main motor, and as you can see, this helicopter is dual direct drive brushless helicopter. So what that means is that there is no gear noise, you know, because there's no reduction gears present here. The main motor is directly connected to the main rotor. So the only noisy thing on this helicopter is the stock propeller, the stock tail rotor. Okay guys, now this heli is prepared for the 5th flight now with the stock radio, and I will perform that flight. You will see that flight next in this review video, and we will see how it flies with the stock settings on the radio, and I will see you back then after the 5th flight. Hi pilots, welcome to the last part of my review video of the AH Apache attack helicopter. I've just done the 5th flight with this helicopter, and that was actually my first flight using a stock radio. The stock radio is actually quite good, especially for a radio that comes in an RTF package. For further flights, I'm expecting to use my Radio Master TX16S, but if I were to use the stock radio, I would lower the rates a little, and I would also add some expo. So this way I would achieve a smoother flight. Now, what to say at the end of this video? This is an awesome looking helicopter. I wouldn't recommend this helicopter for total beginners because it's too fragile, and if you would crash this helicopter, the repair costs would be quite expensive. So, but if you want to have this helicopter, there is a GPS version that will come out soon, and that GPS version of this helicopter is going to be really easy to fly. This version of helicopter is recommended for experienced pilots. Experienced pilots to the point, that they are able to fly safely and reliably. I mean, that they are able to fly without crashing. In that way, you were able to have this helicopter for a long time, and because this helicopter is quite expensive, that's an important thing to consider. Okay, pilots, I hope that you learned something in this video, and I will see you in my next videos. Bye.